All right, good morning, everybody. Hope you're all having yourselves a fantastic start to the AM here. Happy Wednesday, right? Hope you're all having yourselves. It's Wednesday, right? Yeah. Losing my mind. But hopefully you're having yourselves a great week here so far. Been enjoying, right, the price action and how we've been trading and really taking advantage, right, of some of this momentum that we've been seeing here recently. Right, back-to-back red days, right, in the market. Back-to-back green days here, right, inside our portfolio. Actually, 9 consecutive green days here in our portfolio. So looking for a good continuation here of those stories. And hopefully, right, we can take advantage of, basically what appears to be kind of like that Santa Claus rally pullback here to a certain extent. And maybe things kind of figure it out from there. We had a little bit of economic news drop this morning, right? So we had CPI, right, which is a relatively important one, but it came in as expected, 2.7 versus 2.7. And then we've got crude oil inventories here today, right, at 10:30. So that's going to continue to be maybe a little bit less tradable. What we are generally seeing, right, on the index level is ES, right, decreasing volume relative to Monday. So 1.27 versus 1.28. And then NQ, right, increasing volume there yesterday relative to Monday with 530, right, versus 509. So a little bit of a divergence, right, between the index level. Generally, when that is the narrative, right, or that's the case, that tends to slow things down here a little bit. Probably part of the reason why we've seen a relatively consistent kind of P&L inside our own personal accounts here, right, is because the indexes have been giving us a consistent story. So, ES and NQ have very much been kind of holding hands here recently, right, for lack of a better term. And that makes the price action a lot more consistent. When we get a diverging narrative between the indexes, honestly, that just creates scenarios where it's a lot choppier, a lot bouncier, right? And maybe not as easy for us to take advantage of, and certainly not as enthusiastic, right? From like a day trading perspective. Now, it doesn't mean I'm not going to get any action. Doesn't mean I'm not going to get any trades here today. Doesn't mean anything along those lines. Just means that I want to be a little bit cautious, right? I want to be a little bit patient. I ideally not force something that isn't there. On ES, we're going to have the ability to be able to trade price action in either direction. So if, NQ decides to have a trend day here to the upside, then we're going to be able to play ES and take advantage of that momentum. But what we need to see here generally, right, is to have those stories sync back up, right? So we don't want to see NQ selling off, ES pumping. We don't want to see ES pumping, NQ dumping. Right, we want to see that consistency here across the board, and the more consistent the narrative, easier it is for us to take advantage of, whatever we can go. So hopefully, right, we can kind of set ourselves up here for a successful trading day. Not really going to be in a situation where I'm willing to overtrade. Looking to turn today's, 9-day winning streak into a 10-day winning streak, and then beyond. So the coffee is strong, the markets are volatile, the volume is good, and hopefully, right, that means that we set ourselves up for a very tremendously successful trading day. So with that being said, team, have a sip of coffee, get ready for what should be a strong day. And again, right, the reason why we've had, besides just like a market cooperation perspective, but the reason why things have been going well here recently, losing small, right? So losing as soon as it feels wrong, right? That's really important. Closing trades, right, as our P&L is increasing, right? Again, very, very important. It's not a market that's giving us a huge amount of range. So holding out for dear hope, anticipating that, 200-point move, that's a fool's game, right? Better to take your trade as your P&L is increasing. If the move then continues, right, close your trade, lock in your win, and you can always re-enter, right, when it sets up again. And then being aggressive with how we're pyramiding into positions. Yesterday, right, I posted this inside the Discord, right, in the Trading Docs tab. But I made sort of a checklist-based journal, right? So there's 3 components to it, right? Setup, risk management, execution. So did I trade my plan? Was my buys correct? What was my setup? What were the pre-market conditions? How many contracts? How much was I risking? Did I lose? Did I cut my trade when I felt appropriate? Was cutting early the right call, right? What could I have done better? Execution, right? What was my entry price? What was the best entry price? Did my entry feel correct? What was my exit price and P&L? Did I get to pyramid? Did I close my trade too early? Did I close my trade as my P&L is increasing? What could I have done better? And then I think if you just answer all these questions, right, and you fill that out as you're placing your trades, you're going to be able to basically fire through like a checklist that's going to be significantly more profitable for you than maybe what you've been doing in the past. And that journal, right, whatever you want to call it, is in reflection to a lot of the one-on-one calls here I've had recently, right? I've seen a lot of the similar themes here among people where people are allowing their average win to be smaller than their average loss because they keep getting stopped out on pullbacks instead of protecting their trades and closing right as their P&L is increasing, or as they're at, full body bearish, full body bullish candles, whatever it might be. Or I'm not seeing people lose, right, less than they expect. They're losing more than they expect. Or they're not trading their plan, or they're not doing whatever. So if you fill in that journal, you're actually honest with yourself in that evaluation. It's gonna be very obvious, right, what you're doing wrong and what you need to improve, and where you're maybe missing an element, right, that can help you improve your trading. So again, like always, the most successful people in the program, the most successful traders are going to do that, and they're going to take that incredibly seriously. The traders that are looking for that shortcut and they're not interested in doing the work, well, they're going to ignore that and they're not going to do it anyway, and then they're going to complain over why their performance isn't where they want it to be. So if you want to be truly successful here and in any element of your trading, it is the individual that takes the most amount of self-accountability that wins. And I would implore you to be that individual. Wanting to be profitable is not enough. Thinking you deserve to be profitable is not enough. It is really all about creating data, fixing those pain points, and then making your actions match your words. So I would, I'd recommend it all to you to do that. If you're struggling with any of those elements, and then we have another one-on-one call, that's going to be the first thing I ask you, right? Okay, show me your journal. Let's see how you're filling things in. If you're not filling those things in, I'm going to know that you're not very serious, right? So respect yourself by treating yourself with a high level of self-love. Track the data that you need to become profitable, and start fixing your mistakes, right, by identifying what they are. So with that being said, let's start mapping things out here this morning. Let's figure out what we want to do, and let's have ourselves a fantastic trading day. So good morning, Craig, Antonin, Justin, Kyle, Vitali, Sammy, and Cordell. Hope you're all having yourselves a great morning here and are ready for what should hopefully be a good trading day. So we already talked about it, right? We had CPI here this morning. We've got no 10 a.m. data, at least on the index level. And then we've got crude oil inventories here today and bond auction later this afternoon. The crude oil inventories should make it a little bit more challenging for us to trade CL here today. Generally don't trade on inventories day. So we'll see how things kind of come together based off of that. So it's going to be mostly a index-based day here today. So let's put a lot of emphasis and focus there. So what's the count on ES? Let's start there. And let's have ourselves a big day. Yeah, so on ES, actually it's decreasing volume, right? So it's 1.27 versus 1.28 there on Monday. So it's 2 out of 3 to the downside without volume, just by the skin of its teeth, right? Does give me a opportunity to go back up towards all-time highs, so like 61.10, right, on a ORB fake out breakout. So we'll go 60.90. Cool. And then to the downside here, targeting pre-market lows, so 60.50, right, and then beyond. So we'll see how it goes, right? But Probably a little bit more of a two-way tape here. Maybe the big concern is that the bullish move here has now happened in the pre-market. So if that ends up being like a fake out scenario or a rejection spot, right, inside Monday's range, would totally make sense. But let's see where that enthusiasm and volume shows up here today, and if we can get a consistent story across the board. All right, NQ, what's the count here? Yeah, 2 out of 3 to the downside with volume, right? So we're continuing to have a more bearish bias here. Unless we get bigger volume than what we saw yesterday, right? Fine, I'll write that in because we have had that scenario happen already this week. And then we're otherwise looking for a rejection off of like 2,600 to push down towards 24, 23, fine. And then a breakdown. So not too much changing from that plan. Not a huge amount of range there yesterday, right? Which is what we've seen here generally with this low VIX environment, which again, right, is evidence or telling us, right, that we shouldn't be holding out for these massive wins, right? Because the range of the general market's giving us 60, 70, 80 points, right? It's kind of, it's like a max follow through here. So take your win. If the trade then sets up, right, it'll always give you another chance. You don't have to make it all in one go. And yeah, I mean, I want to see more people closing their trades, right, as their P&L is increasing. Subconsciously, I think if you're telling yourself, hey, I need to protect this position, I need to protect this win, you're kind of telling yourself that you're worried that it's not going to give you that max follow through. So instead of then getting stopped out 10 points lower and giving back $300, $400, $500, why not take that extra money and then reset your opportunity, right? So I want to see more people doing that. That for me is going to be very, very important. All right, CL, like we talked about here, right? Okay, we do have 2 out of 3 here to the upside without volume, but we've got 1030 data, so it's probably gonna be untradeable here today. Hard for us to get trending PA until that occurs. And then, I mean, it's been ORB fake out around the trend line. Cool. And I just want to go back to one of that points, right? When you close your trade as your P&L is increasing, you almost like extinguish that desire to overtrade and to get FOMO, right? So you get FOMO when you see a number and then you give that back up and then you desire to want to get back to that number. So if you're up, you know, $1,000 on a trade and then you give back 60% of that where you finish up the trade $400, now you're going to be sitting there thinking, hey, I need to make all this back. I want to get back to being $1,000 because that's what I deserve. That's where I was at, right? So you can remove a lot of that stress, right? Or a lot of that self-imposed FOMO by closing your trade as your P&L is increasing. Yes, if it keeps running without you, you're probably going to feel a little bit of pain there too. But that is better because you can reset and retrade it, right? Instead of hoping that you would have gotten that mega follow through all in one go. So I want to see people being more disciplined, being more structured, right? Being more obsessive over protecting themselves from themselves and realizing that their patterns of bad trading behavior tend to occur when they give back money, right? Not when they've locked in a big win and then the trade keeps going. So you're going to feel a lot worse about a trade when, yeah, you're up a lot and then you give back the majority of that P&L. And that's going to make you feel, yeah, right? That's going to make you feel as if you deserve more, right? And when you deserve more, that's when you start to FOMO trade or overtrade to try to get back to that number. Does that make sense? Again, I get what you're saying, Justin. When you win a lot and you want more and more, that's an element of greed, not an element of FOMO. So that would be a slightly different problem, right? But this idea, right, that enough isn't enough is a different problem versus over trading based on a P&L. Okay, Apple, 2 out of 3 here to the upside without volume. So, you know, when you're feeling greedy, the move is to walk away, right, and do something else with your life instead of sitting and watching the market, because compounding green days is more valuable than compounding green trades, right? So, look, the solution to greed is to literally just walk away and go play video games. Go focus on your day job. Go play with your kids. Spoil your partner, whatever it might be. And then, you know, when you're greedy and you take a trade that loses you money, then you go back to that FOMO, right? Or that like over trading muscle, because you're like, oh fuck, I was up $1,000, now I'm up $800, or I'm up $200. Let me get back to being 1,000, and then you keep trading until you hit that number, and you obsess over that number, and you give away everything, right? So it's all about being proactive, not reactive, in from triggering those emotions. And the proactive thing is to make sure that your wins are closing, right, as it's near its max win. And then once you've had a good day, to walk away, right, and not compound the mistakes. Okay, Tesla hitting 400 here, 3 for 3 to the upside, beast. So we're looking for a 400 dip, buy and go, or a breakout over 410. And I just want to go back to this, right? Guys, if you're taking, you're up $1,000 on the day, and then you're like, oh, I need to make $3,000 here today. Honestly, you're being an asshole, right? You are proving to yourself that you don't care about the process. You don't care about actually achieving your long-term objectives. You need that short-term dopamine rush to feel like you're a success, right? If you make $1,000 a day on average, you're gonna be making $30K a month, right? Or $20K a month. There's 20 trading days a month. So if that isn't enough money to at least make you feel as if you have an element of now control over your life, then you'd have a spending problem, right? Not a trading problem. So again, right? We need to be realistic here with what is reasonable. And I don't think there's many of us here that have ever had day jobs that pay us $1,000 a day, let alone $3,000 a day, let alone $5,000 a day. So this self-imposed limiting belief that it isn't enough, it's honestly bullshit. And it is a form of self-sabotage to feel as if it's not enough, right? So the idea here that you need to judge yourself on a daily P&L number is ridiculous. And the longer and longer you fall in love with building basically your self-worth based on that number, the longer your process is going to take to actually become profitable, because you're going to chase something and it's never going to feel like enough. And then when you chase price action, it always blows up in your face. Always. So that honestly has to stop. If you're going to continue to trade with that belief and that desire, there's nothing like technically that I can do, right? Nothing technically that I can say that'll get you to change. That is a choice that you're making, and it is the wrong choice. And you have evidence of that, right? Every trader has evidence of that inside their brokerage statements of when I need to hit a number, when I need to do this, when I need to feel the dopamine release, right, of being green, that it always blows up in their face. So if we're going to ride that P&L roller coaster, you are screwed. So get off of that, right? Judge yourself based on the quality of your decisions, not the quality of your P&L, and your P&L will very quickly be where you want it to be. But if you're judging your P&L on a day-to-day basis then the quality of your decisions is going to degrade significantly and you will lose everything. Guaranteed. Understood? So I should be happy being down $1,000 on the day if I followed all my rules, trusted my process, right? Did all the kind of criteria that makes me profitable long term. I should be just as happy being down $1,000 as I am being up $1,000, right? As long as I followed my process, because that is what scales. Chasing the number does not, and it always gets you in trouble. And there's nothing I can do, right? Or nothing I can say that will get you to change that. It is a choice that you make, and you need to make the right one. You have to get off of that P&L roller coaster. And you know who you are, guys. You know who you are, right? So if we're not going to be honest with ourselves over those desires, we are screwed. Like, the first thing we have to control as traders is our mind, right? And our expectations. And then the second thing we can control, right, when we have a good mindset, is we can start to control the quality of our decisions, right, without that P&L burden. And once we can trade without that self-imposed burden, we can actually start to make money, and we can start to compound, and we can start to scale. When we're trading with that burden and we're trading with that self-imposed limitation, we might have one good day, we might have 2 good days, but on day 3, day 4, we give away everything. So it has to stop, guys. It has to stop. I can't spend all my time talking people off the ledge, right? Simply because they're choosing to judge themselves on their P&L. It's simply not fair. Right? We judge ourselves from a P&L perspective on a week-to-week, month-to-month basis. We judge our trading on a day-to-day basis based on the quality of decisions that we make. And if we confuse the two, good luck, right? Good luck. That's why trading is difficult. It's because most people aren't willing to make that shift, and they're not willing to judge themselves and delay that gratification, right? They need the short term. Every day's got to be perfect. Every day's got to be perfect. And then the second it isn't, they set themselves up for failure. Understood? Fuck. That looks correct, maybe. 150 probably looks correct, right? Cool. Yes, I would understand. I would understand that commitment you have to make. All right, and it's just as difficult or just as easy as it is to judge yourself based on your P&L, right? It's the exact same thing. It's just as easy. When you tell yourself it's difficult, when you tell yourself it's hard, when you tell yourself it's impossible, you then create a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it becomes that. So we have to choose the language we use to describe our problems. And when we use a language that indicates that we are the ones in control, right? Hey, I made this decision, I made that decision, here's what I can do better. Then you're putting yourself in a mindset of problem solving. And the more problems you solve, right, the more your P&L takes care of yourself, right? But when we put ourselves in that mindset, oh, I need this dollar, I need that dollar, I need this dollar, we're taking on a gambler's mindset, and we're giving up our element of control. And when we give up that element of control, we're requiring luck, right, to basically give us the result that we want. And I don't think any of us trade here with a rabbit's foot in our pocket, right? None of us are. There's no such thing as a lucky trader. So stop expecting yourself to be that and reclaim control over your outcome. Good morning, Topher. Okay, Meta inside bar here. We nailed that call yesterday. So we're still looking for that 630 or 606. Netflix nailed that call there yesterday as well. So we're still looking for that 936 breakout. Or a breakdown here under 903. And then Google, quantum computer, mega move. So still a 3 for 3 here. Gonna go for a 186 breakout. Or a dip by bounce inside yesterday's range. And then NA on a bear case here. So I know I've ranted and raved like a lunatic a little bit this morning. But for me, guys, it's controlling our mindset. It is the most important thing. And it is the choice that we all make. And 99% of traders make the wrong choice. And 99% of traders struggle, right? And get their ass kicked. And it is a choice, right? You choose the outcome that you want. And then your P&L will take care of itself, right? So there's no, I don't tolerate this woe is me mindset. I don't tolerate the market is rigged against me. I don't give that kind of power over anything, right? Because then if I admit that, right, or I tell myself that, then I'm always going to behave as if that's the case. And why would I play a game that is rigged for me to lose, right? That's not the case. The game is not rigged for me to lose. It's designed so I can win if I control myself. So I want to see that from each and every one of you, right? That is what I want from all of you, right? Because I think that's what's going to make you more successful than you could have ever imagined. And it's because you're choosing to not tolerate your own bullshit, to not tolerate your own weakness, to not tolerate your own excuses. And you're taking back accountability, right, and control over your life and your trading. So it's the trader that remains in control, the trader that demands most from themselves, and that actually makes their actions match their words. That's the trader that wins, right? And then the luck, right, is just basically how the variance plays out. It's not the luck in result, it's the luck in timing. So if you focus on improving the quality of your decisions, you will improve the quality of your P&L. If you focus on improving your P&L, right, or chasing your P&L, you will degrade the quality of your decisions chasing a number, and you will lose everything. And we all have evidence of that, right, in our brokerage statements. We all do. Some of us just choose to ignore it. Some of us choose to learn from it. And again, I would stress more and more and more, as much as I can, you have to choose to learn from it. You have to choose to take back control. You have to choose to be accountable to yourself, because there's no one else that can create that for you, right? So, okay, that's over and done with here now. Not going to rant about that too much more today. But let's have ourselves a great day, team. Let's see how things kind of shape up. And hopefully, right, we can have ourselves a very good trading day and go for our 10th green day in a row. Let's crush it, guys. Markets are open. I've got a cup of coffee here. Trying to not make them here before open anymore. So let's see how it goes. Okay. Pretty low volume on ES to start the day. Actually, maybe I take that back. Just a little bit less than what we saw there on yesterday. Increasing volume on NQ, but increasing bearish volume, right? Which makes sense with the narrative that we've got set up here. It might take a few minutes for us to get an opportunity. Again, I'm in no rush today, right? If I don't get a trade, I don't care. If I do get a trade, awesome. I'm going to be judging myself based on a couple factors, right? A, did I trade my setup the way that I expected, right? Did I trade my plan? Cool, right? Did I close my trade before it became a max loss and manage my risk like a psychopath, right? And then did I close my trade as my P&L was increasing or, you know, as my portfolio was at all-time highs? If I can do those three things on every single one of my trades, I'm going to be in great shape. When I ignore one to pursue another, or I put, you know, I change up those priorities, right? Or trick myself into thinking, hey, this time is going to be different. All I do is set myself up for disappointment and failure. Okay, so NQ giving us a nice bullish bias here on the 5-min. Okay. How's everyone feeling this morning? I don't know if I asked today. How's everyone doing? Feeling sharp? Feeling good? Good. Love it, guys. Love it. Good. I am too, Topher. Nice, man. Well, looking forward. When'd you book your call? Beautiful. So slow start here, right? Slow start. And like I said, right? If I don't get a trade here today, no worries. If I get 10 trades here today, no worries. Okay, again, not increasing volume anywhere yet. So give me chill, give me patient. I mean, CL give me increasing volume, but I'm not going to trade this until 10:30. And just a quick reminder here, team, right? If you're a new DTR member and you've only been with us a couple weeks, even a month, maybe even 2 months, if you ever want to talk to someone, you don't need to reach out to your DTR advisor. Inside the Discord, there's a channel called One-on-One Call. So if you're wanting to start your eval, or you're wanting to do things, or you're wanting to do whatever, please use that channel to book your call. I'm the one who's gonna walk you through those things. You don't need to speak to Jared or Amarit or anything along those lines. Once you sign up for the program, right, you get to work with me directly, and that is the link for where you want to book stuff. So if something is on your mind, or you want some help with something, right, please reach out to me directly. That's what you've signed up for. Okay, so possibly setting up here on ES. Yeah, I mean, I'll be talking to you about Electric Outcast today in your call with your advisor. You'll get set up for that there. Okay, so let's start to look here. Right, at ES. Stop loss would be 60.75 for now. I'm going to be a little bit patient with this. Okay, decent reaction here so far. So, how many contracts would this be, guys? At 77.75. How many contracts? Be three. 3 at 77.75. Maybe 4. Yeah. No, 3. it would be 3, right? 4 contracts, you'd be risking $550. It's too many. You're going to be risking less than 500, right? 500 or less. So we've not missed out on anything here yet, right? Not missed out on anything here yet. Okay, a little low vol pullback here, so still in play. Okay, might have missed it. That's all right. Again, if the trade is strong, it'll give me more than one chance to enter, or I can use the aggressive entry technique here. This thing might be in squeeze mode. And I might just target towards 90. So 77.25 stop loss now, right? And you need an entry under 80. Right, so again, be 3 contracts. And again, right, this is now an increasing volume standard. So if it doesn't give me an entry here on this candle, I can always look to jump in, right? Maybe with the aggressive technique or on the next candle here. So if I don't get this opportunity, right, in the next 40 seconds, I'm not missing anything, right? I still have another chance. I still have another opportunity. So I'm not going to judge myself or hold it against myself, right? If I don't get price action to behave the way that I expect. Everyone understand? So if we start to hold ourselves to the standard where we have to make money by breaking our rules, we don't stand a chance to ever make any money, right? We can't torture ourselves for following our process. That's a form of self-sabotage. Okay, so now stop loss would be 60.82. Maybe a little bit higher. Could also play NQ here in a minute. Look, right? So far, not missed anything, right? So this idea that I needed to have chased or rushed or done something stupid would have made 200 bucks. It's not worth breaking the rules for $200. Right? Okay, decent close here on NQ. Better, right? This would probably be now the better look than ES. $21,666 as a possible stop loss. That's hopefully there's no one too superstitious. So again, we need to see a breakout over high a day. Has not happened. And then a pullback into 76.50. Okay, so now watching, right? And this would be 2 contracts, right? This play would be 2 contracts. Okay, give me a little pullback here. Come on. Points. Okay, guys, I am in 675.50. Two contracts. Stop at 666.50. And so far, so good here, right? So far, so good. And let's watch, right? See how this thing continues to behave and to push higher. Hopefully, a few of you guys caught this entry as well. Okay, still watching here. Come on. So far, so really good, though, team. So far, so really good. 600 bucks. If you keep getting a bit more further follow through here, maybe have a chance to pyramid into this position. Will not let this trade go red at this point, right? Past a 1R move. So for me, right, the breakout and separation away from that range was happening much faster than the pullback, right? So the pullback is relative to the enthusiasm of the move before that. Not always going to be the same slow tick by tick on every trade. There's going to be times where it's busier, times where it's slower. And a fantastic result here, team. Fantastic result. This, I don't get why that's happening. I don't know if it's my indicator's giving me a weird variation here. Okay, give it another 30 seconds, right? See if we can hold above 690. Don't like that pullback too much. Come on. Watch this reaction here to 700, right? This is going to be the key. Come on, you can do it. Okay, guys, well, I'm out of this position at 680. So, from my perspective, right, that's kind of a shitty trade. Right? Okay, green, fine. But I went from being at 696, right, and being up 900 bucks to finishing that trade up like 150, right? Up 218.27. So I gave back $700 on that position. So that's a failure, right? That was a bad decision, right? To have let it pull back that deeply. Phil was actually 681. But that was not a good result, right? That was not a good trade. So again, right, if this thing sets back up, I will take another shot. But we've seen it reject now at that 700 a couple times. And the clue for me here is what I've got written down in my notes. Good entry in green right away, but did not protect this position well enough. Wanted to see a breakout over 700 with gusto and got greedy waiting for that move. Was up 900 bucks and finished up 200. My greed cost me $700. Need to protect winners more, especially when post-entry candle is on decreasing volume, right? So as we've seen, here's my entry candle or confirmation candle. Here's my entry candle. That was on the lowest volume bar of the day, right? So if I'm arguing, hey, this is strong bulls, probably not the right indication of that. And so I would say that's definitely greed, right? Ignoring that as a possible sign. And again, could absolutely break out here, fine. But I would need to see increasing volume show back up before I could trust that momentum. But from my perspective, right, that was a bad trade. So if I were to fill out this journal, right, did I close my trade as my P&L was increasing? No. Cost me $700 to have made that decision, right? 1.2 R, right? I destroyed my margin of error by closing as my P&L was decreasing, not as it was increasing. So that was not a good decision. So again, I'm not judging myself on my P&L, right? I'm judging myself on the quality of my decision. And that wasn't a good one. Objectively, decreasing volume, going into resistance, should not be something I get greedy to hold through. So I don't understand that distinction. Like a $200 day, fine. But if I behave that way consistently, right, and I'm willing to accept that as a good result, then I'm destroying, right, my margin for error. I took a half R win when I should have been up 2R, right? So now if I'm going to take half our wins, I have to be green 80% of the time to make money on that decision. Which, okay, for sure possible, but it's not likely. And so I'm actually creating a more difficult trading environment for me to deal with. Honestly, Michael, if you're going to be wanting to push your stop loss up, I would just take the profit when you feel like you should be doing that, right? Because closing your trades as your P&L is decreasing is not a good habit, right? It destroys your margin for error. So I'd always rather you close a trade as your P&L is at its high and then look to re-enter than to have this hope that it's going to run forever. You will make a lot more money that way. So I'm pretty annoyed with myself, right? From letting, $700 slip through my fingers. So I'm not going to encourage you to do that, right? It's a losing habit. So when we're trading short-term momentum in these short positions, it makes very little sense to allow yourself to get stopped out on a pullback, right? That's not, doesn't generate any extra alpha for you. It's more comfortable, right, doing that. But getting stopped out protecting a winning trade is as catastrophic as getting stopped out before a trade goes green, right? So I want to make sure that that isn't the reality. And again, I don't care that this is now 706. No, Gabe, no setup on NQ on the 3 min because we don't have a bullish volume standard that's larger than yesterday, right? So opening candle was red. That's larger than any volume. On the 5 min, that's bigger than yesterday's 5 min. So no setup here on the 3 min on NQ. ES, we could maybe do that, but ES, not really outlier volume. All right, so this has a chance to go increasing volume, right, on a breakout and hold through 700. So again, right after that execution mistake on that previous trade, taking a few minutes, right? Reset, recharge, right? Don't need to rush into anything else here. And again, there's no FOMO, right? Of now feeling as if I shouldn't have protected that position or anything along those lines. Would have been within 3 points of getting stopped out. Do you know how bad that would have felt from a mental capital perspective? Not good, right? So reset, recharge. I'm never going to hold it against myself for following my rules and for not doubling down on mistakes, right? So we've got another opportunity here. This trade seems to be relatively strong. And we could target a move towards 2,800. So let's see if this ends up coming together here now. So there's a little breakout. Let's be patient. 719.50 would be the stop loss for now. Let's see where it finds support. So now we'll call it 714.50. Okay, so again, we'd be looking at 2 contracts here. Maybe 3. This isn't ready for me yet. Right? The reason why it's not ready is because when it pulled back, broke out, we wanted to have seen that 724.75 act as support. It didn't, right? It went through it like butter on that pullback. So that makes you feel, right, that it's still going to look for a deeper retracement prior to it being ready. So now stop would have to be 710. And again, it's the same thing. We want to see it now break out back over that 724.75 and for that to act as support prior to us breaking out. We have a big enough range here where even between this 31 and this 25, we could still get those 2 contracts, right? So we don't need to be in a rush here to get an entry. We want to make sure that we're being specific enough so that when we do jump in, A, we're not getting faked out, and B, we're not spending a significant amount of time in drawdown. So we always want to see previous areas of resistance act as support. And that's what was missing right on that pullback. That previous area of resistance, say that 725 area did not act as support. It just flushed through. So again, I'm able to make a good decision there by not allowing myself to compound mistakes. So far, no entry here. Everyone get that? Okay, so again, right, we're back to watching here now. 708 stop loss would be the starting point. Okay, now we want to see a gentle pullback, right, into 24.75. And this would be 1 contract. Okay, so far no entry here. The only entry I would have had, right, I would have gotten faked out on and not caught in this move anyway. So again, right, no FOMO. I can be objective with that. Because I would have gone stopped out at 714 or something like that. So it has to get under 730. right? Otherwise, we can look for potentially the aggressive technique here, right, on this time frame again and just reset it. Okay, watching closely here. So now stop would be 728. And this would allow you to go more aggressive with your position sizing, right? Again, we want to see previous area of resistance act as support. Has not happened yet. Better. So now we want to see it hold here. Did not. So it's the same pattern, right? We saw in this candle so far. I'm really not missing out on anything here, team, right? And I can't trick myself into thinking I have. That is a fool's game. Right? Look, I would rather miss a move that isn't perfect than to lose money. Look, even though I'm not maybe up as much as I would like to be here today, I'm still green on the day. So what do I have to complain about, right? I've been working for 45 minutes and I've made $200. All right, I got 6 accounts. So have I ever made $1,200 in an hour in a real job? No. Right? So this idea that it isn't enough or that it isn't significant or that it isn't XYZ, it's a self-imposed limiting belief that is going to trick you into making a dumb decision. So I'm not going to be that guy, right? We've averaged 5K a day approximately. $5,500 a day across accounts in the last 9 days. So if I catch my breath here today and don't get a mega move, don't get the biggest move of the market, does that mean I'm an idiot or a bad trader or anything along those lines? Of course not, right? You just forget about those things because the market makes you want to feel as if every moment is like the next biggest move. Just don't fall for that, right? Don't trick yourself into thinking if I don't get this, I'm a failure or whatever it is, right? Oh, if I don't catch this trade, I'm not going to make the money I want to quit my job. I'm going to do whatever. The second you start trading with that self-imposed, we'll call it timeline, all you're doing is delaying how soon you will get there. Again, we've missed out on fuck all, right? Can everyone see that objectively? Right? Price action didn't hold support where we expected it to, and then it flushed and died, right? So we could have tricked ourselves into thinking, hey, I could have gotten an entry here, I could have done whatever, I could have done X, Y, Z, but I didn't, right? And the valuable thing here, what I want to stress, is because I acknowledged that I made a mistake on that initial NQ trade, right? I wasn't as aggressive in closing my position or protecting my position as I should have been. Then I can almost like see the fork in the road that I would take, right? If I was on tilt, right? So by acknowledging that mistake, by being honest with myself and with you guys, that, hey, okay, I probably should have done that trade a little bit differently. Instead of then compounding mistakes, I can cut that off, right, where it happened, reset, right, and keep my mental capital so I don't then make another mistake on the following setup, right? So it's by being honest with myself over my patterns of behavior that I can acknowledge them, learn from them, and then avoid, right, the negative consequences of those decisions. So that's why writing things down in your journal, right? That's why being objective in your analysis over how you're traded is so valuable. It's because then you can see the irrational behavior for what it is, and you can choose, right, to either go left, right, and go back to the straight and narrow path, or you can go right and go back to chasing the P&L path that made you make that mistake in the first place. And so instead of being outcome focused, right, I can be decision based focused, and I can save myself from being down, right, now objectively maybe $1,000 on the day. All right, so instead I'm up $200. Maybe I should have been up $1,000. But I'm not making that feel personal. I'm being honest and transparent with myself, right? I'm acknowledging what my flaws are to a certain extent. And I'm trading the price action in front of me. Thing missing, right, for NQ here is we want to see it hold under 700. Has not happened yet. Yeah, you too, Jenny. Green day for you today? Well done. Love it. So again, right? Not every day is going to be a monster. Not every day is going to feel life-changing. But every day we can remain in control. And the more we obsess over that, the better the puzzle goes, right, long term. So again, if I don't get another trade here today, one good decision, right, in avoiding losing trades, one bad decision that actually ended up being a profitable outcome. Funny how that works, right? And so the more I can tell myself that, hey, actually this good P&L thing was actually a bad process and makes it harder for me to be green long term, well, the next time I get to that situation, I promise you, won't happen again, right? Because I'm acknowledging my pattern, I'm acknowledging the mistake. I'm holding myself to a very strict standard over how I evaluate it, right? And I'm just holding myself to a level that would make most people uncomfortable. Most people would be uncomfortable admitting that a green trade was actually a bad decision, right? And that's why most people are red. Why most people don't make any money. Okay, so we have a possible setup here on NQ, right? Held under 700. So the question is, where's the best stop loss? I'd like to probably see that 704. Okay, now stop loss would be 714-ish. For now, this would be the pullback technique. And we'd be looking for basically a rejection off of 704.50. Ideally, would prefer to see a breakdown and then an entry target of like 692 or above. All right, that'd be 10 points. Be pretty realistic. Okay, so watching closely here. Too fast, right? This previous area of resistance did not act as support here for the downside. So I'm going to wait it out. If this goes inside bar, no big deal. That's fine. If we have to wait now for crude oil inventories in 4 minutes, again, that's fine too. Again, being in a rush to make money always puts you in a situation where you're just going to lose faster than you want. Okay, a little inside breezy. So again, no setup here. Well, there's no entry yet. Sorry, we do have a setup, just no entry. Sounds good, mate. Good luck. Again, good decision, right? Good decision so far. So again, right, this would have faked me out prior to breaking down. So again, no FOMO here, right? I can be objective in that analysis and say the only way I would have made money on this position is had I had a stop loss that was irrational and against my rules, right? So this candle should give me increasing volume. That might give me an opportunity. Sounds good, Jack. Enjoy the rest of your day, man. And I'll have plenty of space down towards that 570. Plenty of space. Okay. So still in play here. Okay, still an inside bar, right? Nothing going on yet. So again, right, we've just avoided mistakes here so far. Yeah. So at this point, not sure how aggressive I'm going to be here for the remainder of the day. How's everyone feeling? So what's the missing piece here on the 5 min with NQ here? What's missing? Why is it not an interesting setup? Volume's fine. Volume's fine. It's increasing outlier. Yeah, right? Like our resistance here, right, is 736.50 approximately. So we haven't broken out above that range. So our risk reward target would have to be towards that area. So it's not enough space to justify that trade. We need to see a increasing volume breakout over the current high of day so that we can then target, you know, 21.8. The volume is increasing, so it's not the volume. It's that we couldn't hold or get above the previous area of resistance, right? I have to say, since I went back, saw some of my friends in the UK, been back a little bit, I have this like internal desire now to use the word rubbish a lot more. So price action looking rubbish here. Trying to be all cultured. Yeah, exactly, Sammy, yeah. Not yet. Again, we need to get through that 69.18. So we're closer. Still not there. This would have to be on the 10 min, right? Maybe the 15. Okay, so 10 cents, 12 cents. Okay, and there it goes. See if it can hold under that 18, right? Okay, so a minute 45 to go. Let's see. Nice work, Suresh. It's got to close under 18 for me, 15 seconds. Okay. So watching CL here now to the downside. We don't really want to see it pull back too much higher above 69.18. Now a little bit above, fine. But like 15, 20 cents, not super appealing. Best case, right, would be, you know, that 69.20 as our stop. I'll be right back, team. So again, nothing has changed here yet. Excuse me. I don't know, it's maybe starting to look a little bit like a nothing burger. So what do you think, team? Any more trades here today? Set it out. Been a relatively calm day. We kind of nailed the view of it being possibly a day of consolidation. Not sure if I've seen anything here that really indicates anything that's close to trending PA. Yeah, it might be worth walking away here, Mike. We'll see. Give it a few more minutes, but... yeah, nice work, Michael. Yeah, Kyle, look, if you're not feeling great, walk away, man. Go enjoy the rest of your day. Lay down. Get some rest. That'll compound a lot more than anything else we might do here today. Yeah, you too, man. We'll talk soon. Yeah, from my end, like it's okay P&L day, right? But it should have been a lot better. Not to say I'm festering on that mistake, but definitely still thinking about it. Don't really feel like I've missed out on anything. I feel like all the other trades I've seen here since that one probably would have lost money on or not moved the needle. Yeah, good shout, good eye. We need to get to outlier volume. It's close. So let's watch this. Good eye, Sammy. Good eye. So stop loss of 87.50, we'll call it. Again, no rush here, right? We haven't seen this really go elevator or go psycho mode yet, so being very patient. It's almost 11. Okay, better. Big jump. I look on the 5. So only really tradable on the 3 here. And I'll be honest, I would rather miss this than be early, right? So again, so far, no reason to have jumped in yet. Gosh, being patient sucks sometimes. Okay, missed out nothing on crudes, now 69.50. Might just wait for 11 here, truth be told. Okay, again, good decision here so far. We're getting tortured with almosts. I'm going to say no setup. Yeah, I think I'm not going to do anything else here, team. Just doesn't feel worth the squeeze. Yeah, fair play, Kiki. I'm not sure if it's worth it. All right, guys, I'm going to go final call for questions here. Final call for questions. All in all, should have been a better day. But it wasn't a bad day, right? Sounds good, Jeff. Enjoy your day, man. Yeah, you too, John. So hopefully you guys all use that new trading journal template, right? Use that as like a benchmark for the questions you should be asking yourself, right, inside your trades. A 1-for-1, relatively calm, slow day. Don't feel like I missed anything. Yeah, so this is NQ1 exclamation mark, Carla. So this is NASDAQ futures. All right, team. Final call here. Final call. All right, team. Well, if no further questions, then yeah, send me an email, Carla, Michael at DTRtrading.com. We'll get you all sorted out. So yeah, team, same deal like always, right? If you have any questions, hit me up outside of market hours. I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Otherwise, have yourselves a fantastic rest of the day, and I'll catch up with a few of you here later this afternoon, or see you all tomorrow morning. So have yourselves a great one, team. Good day here, good lesson. Nice to keep the streak alive, but today should have been a better day for sure. All right, peace.